Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Marcos Villegas. Welcome to the Fight Hub TV live chat. Today's April 26, 2021. Let me know, first off, I changed up the setup on this. So let me know how the audio is looking for everybody and how it's sounding. I changed a few things up. So big headphones and all that. I don't know. I felt like they just kind of bugging the crap out of me, to be honest. But hey, man, what a busy weekend in combat sports over the weekend. A ton of stuff that happened. We're gonna get to that and recap all the action. A lot of stuff happening in the world of MMA. A lot of stuff happening in the world of boxing as well. Damn, the boxing fight was really good. If you guys went ahead and missed the action, and of course, we're going to touch on the main headline of this as well. What's up, Paul? How's it going? Glad that you're going ahead and able to join us. Paul's a longtime listener and supporter over here at Fight Up, listening from the UK as well. Mr. Max, what's going on? Cruz, thank you for the like and thumbs up as well. I say give you a little thing right there. Boom, there you go. Everyone go support these guys that support us on the channel as well. And let me get started, man. So over the weekend, the UFC fight happened. I forget which UFC it was. There's so many UFCs now. They're like at 2 something. But Jake Paul getting into it with Daniel Cormier, and it's almost you can't avoid talking about this because this is the second straight week he's been in the headlines. He knows what the hell he's doing, obviously, and it's a smart thing. He has momentum going. From a PR and marketing standpoint, you want to keep the momentum going. You want to keep that attention going by creating headlines. Gilbert, yes, we are going to touch on boxing, but like I'm getting into, it's almost impossible not to touch on what's happening. Jake Paul's doing incredible things, and I'm so into it. I'll watch every fight, says the People's Brothers. So, he's making non-believers into believers. But as I'm getting to it, he was at the UFC fight, and it was, you can't not talk about what happened at the UFC fight. If you guys don't know what happened, he gets into a confrontation with Daniel Cormier. They had been going back and forth with each other via Twitter. Cormier said he'd slap the ish out of him if he'd go ahead and see him. What's up, everybody joining us? Enrique, Tycho, Jacob. I know, bro, but we got to, because when he does stuff, man, it gets attention. But like I was saying, he gets into it via Twitter with Daniel, and we put out a little video. Video did like 600,000 views, which is nuts, which means that they're, regardless if we like it or not, we're watching what he's doing because he generates attention. He generates headlines. He gets into it with Daniel Cormier at the UFC event. They go back and forth, blah, 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 blah. Then Dana comments at the post-fight press conference for the UFC event, and what he felt about what Jake's doing. He says, gives him props. Let me make this clear first off. Let me make this clear. I think, I can't hate on the guy for trying to grind and to hustle and to make money. I'm never going to hate on someone that is doing that. And he's doing that. So, props to him, man. He's getting that money. He's getting that money. There's nothing wrong with getting that money, and he's going about it the right way. So I just want to make that clear. Whether he rubs you off the wrong way or not, that's a whole different thing. And the way he's going about it is a very smart way to go about it. I'll get into that right now, but I'm recapping you how we're getting to where we got with this whole thing. Dana says some things. The next day on Sunday, Jake Paul does a tweet to Dana that he's made more money than any other UFC fighters ever made in their career, or something akin to that. And it's just really brought up an issue that many people have brought up about Dana White and the UFC for years, in the discrepancy in pay for MMA fighters when compared to other combat sports in more specific in comparison to boxing. He said, why is it that we're seeing so many MMA fighters go into boxing? So he got a lot of support from that tweet that he put out on Twitter. So with that being said, man, okay. So the title of this whole live stream, okay, in this whole video, the whole point that I wanted to make with this, because I'll admit it's very freaking weird still. It's still weird to me that this is the second week in a row that we're having to talk about this. There's a lot of great fights happening this weekend, but he's stealing all the headlines. Jake Paul is the bad guy you love to hate, and he's laughing all the way to the bank. All right. Where do we begin? First off, he's smart. He knows what the hell he's doing. Okay. He knows that there's a big segment of the combat sports fandom that is not a fan of his, that doesn't like the way he portrays himself. They think he, one way or another, is annoying, or they just don't rock with him. Okay. He knows this. And he knows each and every one of you and us are going to pay to go ahead and, sorry about that, my phone's on, are going to pay to see him in the ring in the hopes that he gets caught with a 3-piece and a soda at some point, and someone makes him pay for, the general annoyance that is being portrayed to combat sports fans. It is crazy. He's like united like MMA and boxing fans together against him, which is, usually MMA and boxing fans are going at each other, to be honest. And he's laughing all the way to the bank. And he's taking a page out of the Mayweather playbook, okay? Before Mayweather was Money May, which, on a side note, I completely and totally think that the whole Money Mayweather gimmick, because it was a gimmick, he is about that, but he exaggerated that trait of himself, similar to what WWE wrestlers do. And that's what Jake's doing. Maybe, I've never, that's not true. I've talked to him before and have interviewed him before, but I don't know him on a personal level. So I don't know how much of what we see is an act and how much of it is really him. It's become fairly obvious. It's exaggerated. And he knows this. And he's taking a page out of the WWE and out of Floyd Mayweather. It's exaggerated to evoke a response. Him and his brother have been doing this on YouTube for years with the vlogs that they've put out. They know how to evoke a response from people, and that's what he's doing. And he knows that on the YouTube side, people will watch to see that. And now transitioning over to boxing, we will pay to see him, hopefully in the hopes of getting hit. Side note, I totally feel that Floyd Mayweather stole the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's gimmick. $1 Million Man Floyd was a wrestling fan, and I've always wanted to ask him this, if he got inspiration from the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, because there's a lot of things that Floyd would do that Ted DiBiase would do years and years ago in the early 90s. And I always felt it was too much of a coincidence, me being a hardcore wrestling fan growing up. With that said, the thing that it was with Floyd fights was when he came out, when he transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, and he created that persona, it rubbed off a lot of people the wrong way. We're in the midst of the pandemic, not that pandemic, the recession at that time, like in 2006, 2007, when the housing crisis happened, and he's flaunting all this money, and people are going on the hard times, and it just rubbed off people the wrong way during that time, and then just a lot of people not being a fan of his defensive style. To each his own. I always enjoyed watching Floyd and his defensive style, because I'm a boxing nerd. I like the technical things that he would do in the ring, because to me it would be amazing to see him go ahead and pull off those things. But because of that, and because of the undefeated record, we wanted to see not we as in me, but boxing fans in general paid to watch his fights to see him lose, or in the hopes of seeing him lose, or in the hopes of seeing him take a big punch and seeing him hurt. Same damn thing is happening right now with Jake Paul. And he's going to keep making bank. What we see from him, he's going to keep making headlines. People are going to keep watching because it sells. The heels sell. In wrestling, the heels sell. And it's fun to be the bad guy. It's a hell of a lot of fun. A lot more fun than being the good guy. That's for sure. You know, you compare someone like, let's see, Canelo. Okay, I'll use this. Maybe it's not a good example, but I'm saying, like, you know, Canelo rarely talks trash. He's a good guy. You know, he's a baby face. He rarely talks trash or says anything. Everything's very, very safe, very PR controlled. And then you compare it to someone, you know, a trash talker. You know, I don't know. You guys give me an idea. You know, like a Mayorga, or even to an extent like a Paulie Malignaggi. You MMA fans love Paulie. Oh my God. You know, what's going to get the headlines? The guy who's talking trash, the heel. Always does, always will be. And that's what he's doing, man. I don't want to say he's playing everybody, but it's an act. And I would not be surprised. His brother already went to WWE, had that spot in WrestleMania. Would not be surprised if he ends up in the WWE after this boxing stuff. Because, you know, obviously, you know, how long could the him fighting MMA fighters go? It's going to get to a point where he goes through the list of people that he wants. And if he continues doing this, then he's going to have to face a real legit boxer at some point. And like I mentioned last week, obviously people have a problem with that now, that he should be facing a real boxer now. The dude this is his amateur career right now. He's never had any amateur experience. So what is he supposed to do? If he is indeed serious, okay, they have to match him right. They're not just, they know he's a cash cow. They know he sells a lot. They know he makes a lot of money. He's a businessman. He's not going to be dumb about it. He's not going to go in and jump into a fight with Canelo or someone like that. This guy's a relatively green to boxing. He's a newbie in terms of the skills in the ring. So he's going to match himself correctly, like an amateur does. You take a look at any of these amateur guys. Look at the guys that are on the records. These guys are terrible that are on the records, but it serves a purpose. And the purpose is to give those guys, those prospects that are coming up, as many looks as possible, okay? As many looks as possible to get them ready for when the real opportunity comes, that they're more than ready to step up to the challenge. And the manager, the promoter will know if their kid's the real deal, because they've put them in so many live situations that it's sink or swing time. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And eventually, if he wants to take the boxing thing all the way, it'll get to that point. And the truth always reveals itself in the ring. It always does. And we'll see. It looks, you know, that he's been taking it serious, that he's been training. The kid has pop. He can hit. And he's showing boxing skills. But let's all remember, it's good to be the bad guy. And he's going to keep playing this. He's going to keep creating controversy. Like Eric, see, I'm a big wrestling guy. So, you know, when I see a lot of this behavior, a lot of this stuff, like it immediately, like I've seen it before in pro wrestling, you know, like Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash, and he's generating a buttload of freaking cash. With that being said, I'm going to be now joined in with my two broskies, Mr. Jahir Martinez and Marcus Hayes, up in the house. How we doing?
What up? What up? How are y'all?
Go ahead and, whoa, okay. It's a Monday happy hour right here with Marcus.
No doubt.
All right, let's go ahead and get to some of the questions. Already, we're getting a super chat right here. Roger Castillo, what's up, my bro? Thank you for the super chat. If you guys want to go ahead and support the channel, support this live stream, go ahead and hit the super chat. We'll read your questions live on air, give you a shout out as well. Everybody, please like this, share, subscribe if you're watching us for the first time as well. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Let's go. Roger Castillo, imagine if Conor McGregor fights Jake Paul. How many pay-per-views would it sell? I say 3 million. Obviously, anything with Cogger, anything with Connor does well. There's very few guys that could sell on pay-per-view in combat sports right now. It's only a handful. It's crazy too because no one in boxing is doing 2 million buys right now. They have to be matched with the right person, and the fight be a highly anticipated fight. Fury versus Joshua has a chance to be a very big fight. Does it do 2 million? I don't know. Maybe in the UK, but I don't know about it in the US. Not even Canelo is doing million buy pay-per-views. Well, one, he's with DAZN, but he has to be matched with the right person. Jake was matched with the Ben Askren. We didn't know what the hell was going to happen. That was a big allure of the fight. We wanted to see what happened. It was like a train wreck. We didn't know, and everybody stops for train wrecks to see what happens. If he keeps winning, keep getting knockouts, I think eventually, and it might be a pride thing with Connor as well, like a lot of boxing fans that refuse to I don't want to give this attention. Like, oh my God, like Marcos, why are you talking about him again for the second week in a row? It's gonna come to a point where it's like you got to realize the dollars make sense. And he's gonna realize if he keeps winning, if he fights him, it's gonna make him a lot of freaking money. And at the end of the day, these guys are prize fighters. They're in it obviously to entertain fans. They're in it to sport, to challenge themselves. But the ultimate goal is to make as much money as they freaking can. That would be a huge fight. It'd be a huge fight, no brainer. Conor McGregor against me and Marcus and Jahir is a big fight. It's because it's for real, because it's Conor McGregor. But yeah, could that be the highest selling pay-per-view of all time? I don't know. Would it do huge numbers? 110%. 3 million pay-per-view wise, with the landscape now, it's difficult to say, but yeah, I would say that it would do well. And no, Gilbert, I'm not only going to talk about Jake Paul every week, bro. Next week, we're talking about Canelo because Canelo fights next week, Texas against Billy Joe Saunders. But gents, I don't know. Thoughts on what I touched on for the last 15 minutes.
Man, it's like I was telling you earlier, it's really unfortunate per se, quote unquote, that we're still talking about him. Yeah, people are like, you're still talking about him. But honestly, that's what's moving. That's what's trending. Like I checked on Twitter on Saturday, all was trending. Obviously, was Masvidal knockout when he got knocked out, but it was also Jake Paul. And he had a TikTok where he said, "What am I gonna do today? Am I gonna make people happy or I'm gonna piss them off?" And he said, "I'm gonna piss them off." So then he recorded himself in the video at the UFC, and people were like, "Or F Jake Paul, F Jake Paul," and that's all that just moves. That's all the topic right now. Yes, there's other topics we can talk about, but obviously Jake Paul is just pulling everything right now. And like Eddie Hearn said, if these managers, these promotions don't hurry up and make the fights that we want, slowly or quickly, we're going to see more of Jake Paul than what you expect. So what we talked about last week, I think it's just a wake-up call. And then when he tweeted Dana White about why is your fighters not making as much money? Why did I make more money than the two biggest fights in UFC history? Like, why am I doing this? So he's also calling out and he's bringing, I guess, all the UFC together, all the boxing together. So, hate or love it, he's doing something good. He's doing something good. And at first, I didn't agree with it because I felt like he was disrespectful to people who have put in the work since 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, going to the Olympics, doing the Junior Olympics, winning the Golden Gloves. These kids who didn't have nothing to pay for their flights, who had sponsors and all this. And this kid just comes around and does more than what a fighter has done in 20 fights, and he does more in 3 fights. That is absurd. Like, that's just out of this. It's out of the norm. Who would imagine? Even though we hate it, we got to get on this train for now. I don't know.
Marcus?
This sort of thing has been happening in a serious arena. If you look at it, bro, look at politics. Look at California voting the Terminator in as governor, doggy. Entertainment is what is driving where our culture, our country's culture is starved for entertainment. Everything has to have some sort of entertainment quality. Even a funeral, when they show it on TV, it's got to have some type of pop or zing, bro. Like, that's never going to change. I mean, that's something that's embedded. He's found a little niche here where, and it's not just him. Let's get it clear. Everybody is focusing on him. I'm telling you, listen, you rappers, all you other athletes and people who have had beefs before that have been public, there is a way for you to make money by fighting. You could donate the money to charity. You could keep it line your pockets. Look, these type of sideshow events are something that it's not boxing. I'm sorry to see so many boxing fans getting fired up about it. Yes, it's on a boxing program where there are other legitimate boxing bouts. This is a sideshow, and it's okay. Just leave it be. Just enjoy it, and we'll see what happens. And if it does start to make a big deal, hey, you got to deal with it.
Here's a point that Jahir, in his interview with Evander Holyfield, I believe, asked him, what is this? And I think Evander said, this is entertainment, right? That's what he said. And it's exactly what this is. It's entertainment. People are always going to pay for entertainment, regardless in what form it comes, because people want to be entertained, and just so happens this is pretty damn entertaining because you get some of these wild freaking freak show type matches, and you're kind of like, huh, that's interesting. Look at, for you combat sports fans, okay? Dang it, I got to get to this Roger Castillo's question here, but I'm going to get to that. I'm going to bring up Pride FC right now. But Roger Castillo, thank you again for the super chat. Do you believe Jake versus Ben did 1.5 million on pay-per-view, or is it a lie? Well, Dana White thinks it's a lie. That's for sure. I 110% believe it did 1.5 million buys, and I'll tell you why. And I've been telling promoters this for years. Our YouTube numbers reflect how well an event's going to do. The YouTube numbers reflect how well a pay-per-view is going to sell. For Wilder and Fury, I told the Fox people it'll do around 500,000 to 700,000 pay-per-view buys. I forget what it was, but I think it was kind of close to somewhere around there. With Manny versus Thurman, I told him it won't do 1 million. It's not trending at 1 million, but maybe 500,000, 700. I think it did around 700. The videos that we're putting out with this was doing crazy freaking traffic. The only times I had ever seen better traffic than the stuff that we were putting out was for 2 other fights. Mayweather versus Pacquiao, which is still to this day the king, and Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, which is weird. We got more traffic for the Mayweather versus McGregor fight, but because at that point I knew what the hell I was doing YouTube-wise, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing YouTube-wise when Mayweather-Pacquiao came around. So, yeah, 110% believe that. Count Drago, what's up, bro? Thank you for the super chat.
Marcos,
I understand us. Yeah, go for it.
Real quick. What Marcus said, entertainment. This country's building entertainment. What did Floyd Mayweather say on his 24/7 with Oscar De La Hoya when he
Floyd's fighting freaking Logan Paul?
But what did Mayweather say? This is exactly what Mayweather said. America's built on 2 things: money and controversy, and that is where Jake Paul falls into money and controversy.
Well, like I mentioned, bro, Eric Bischoff, controversy creates cash. It's true. Like I said, if you look at it from a wrestling perspective, it's like clear as day. He's playing a character. He's playing the villain role, and historically, the villains have always made the most money, most cash, most controversy, most heat. He's playing a villain. Count Drago, what's up, bro?
What did The Rock's dad say?
What did he say?
The late Rock's dad said that if you work the gimmick good enough, it'll become real. They worked the gimmick. Look at The Rock. He worked the gimmick. The gimmick now is real. When you see The Rock, you see The Rock. You don't see, you know what I mean, the dude that's first broke into wrestling. You see The Rock. I mean, he's working the gimmick. It shows that it's true. It's pretty awesome. It's all good.
Count Drago.
Plus, he's actually fighting.
I understand us boxing heads don't like it, but it's good for boxing. He brings a lot of young viewers to the sport, and maybe some stay. I'm still torn on this, bro. And all you guys on the chat right now, let me know if you agree with that. You're dumb, Gilbert. I know you're joking around, but you're dumb. You know, I still don't know if just his fans are tuning in because it's him, or if those fans that are tuning in actually go ahead and stay and become boxing fans. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify that. I don't know how to find that out. To be honest, time will tell. I guess with the other fights, if we're seeing viewership grow, pay-per-view buys grow, then we know, okay, these YouTube fights are having a positive effect on boxing. But it's hard to tell. We still don't go ahead and know. For that. And back to the previous thing I was talking about, the freak show fights. Pride FC had a ton of freaking freak show fights, dude. They put in, you know what Pride would do in Japan? They would put in their MMA fighters against pro wrestlers, which I'm surprised they haven't done that. The WWE or WWF did that before with their little Brawl for All tournament. And it's funny because that popped in my mind because I saw the documentary earlier today about the Brawl for All tournament. That was entertaining as hell. I love the Brawl for All tournament. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, you're killing people's characters, but I thought it was the funniest thing. Fedor fought some weird freaking guys. He fought the best in the world too, but he fought some weird freaking guys. Crow Cop fought Alberto Del Rio. Pride had all these weird freaking fights, and the Japanese crowd loved them. So there is a market. It's entertainment, and it is what it is. Gents, let's now transition into fight sports, the real fights. Dude, freaking Jorge Masvidal got sent to the shadow realm. Oh my freaking God, everybody. Did you guys see that knockout? Jesus.
Yeah. Man, I jumped out of my couch. But then I think his rhythm, I mean, it's easier said than done, right? We're being outside, but I think his rhythm, he was trying to play with Usman because he noticed that in the previous fight that he could toy with him and get him out of his game plan. There was right before.
Give me 1 second, Jahir. I'm gonna give a shout out to Brett Cooper. Okay, Brett Cooper, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Good from hearing you. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is Brett Cooper is one of the first people I've interviewed for Fight Hub. When I first started Fight Hub out, I would go over to the body shop in Lakewood, California, where he was training at the time with Antonio McKee. And he would allow me to go ahead and interview him. So very, very early on, Brett was generous with this time as well. So Brett, man, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for hopping in on the live chat. Good to hear from you, and thank you for allowing me to learn and grow so early on, because I was pretty terrible when I first started out. Go ahead, Jahir.
Yeah, so if you notice, Usman was just really more boxing and using more of his boxing technique. So there was a combination where Usman was just throwing more of his jab and trying to catch him with a right. He caught him one time with a right, and I don't know if you noticed, Jorge went he got like, oh, let's go. So then I don't know if you noticed, but Usman was like, I'm getting him out of his rhythm. Let me throw the same punch again. He threw that jab coming in, and boom, he caught him because his guard was like right here, and he normally Jorge keeps his guard high when he comes more in. But he was having it right here, and I was telling my friend, dude, he's about to get caught. He's about to get caught. And boom, he got caught. So I was like, man, it hurt because Usman, Masvidal is a good guy, man. When we met him in person, remember, Marcos? When we met him in person, he was very generous. He would talk to us. He gave us the time and everything. So he was very generous. And I felt, man,
he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. I don't know if I agree with his politics, that's for sure.
That's where I didn't agree with him, because I was like, man, he's rubbing off.
Totally different show there on that thing.
Yeah, but then Usman's from Dallas, obviously. So I was like, man, I'm stuck. But hey, man, and he didn't even know where he was at. Jorge did not know where he was at. That was oh my God. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was a bad knockout, dude. That was reminded me of the Wilder knockout against Luis Ortiz, when you see all the sweat go off of his head, man. That was bad. The only thing that I can think of is Usman did a good job of kind of, I don't know, decoy, but kind of like he touched the other hand and then came in. It was just a quick punch, man. It was a fast punch. Just like actually when Jake, knocked out Ben, that punch came extremely fast, and people were like, oh, how could he get hit with that? Couldn't he have just, stepped under, Yeah, he could have. Yeah, he should have had his hands up a little bit more, but one, that was a really fast punch, and two, man, it's just the reaction is not there. The reflexes aren't there in time as well. it's a whole of a lot different when you're in there and these punches are really flying at you at real speed, you know?
Marcus wants to say something.
Bro, listen. Look, dog.
Yo, what's up? What's up, bro?
Askren and Masvidal got something in common.
They got knocked out?
They got two things in common.
Yeah.
They got this disease called can't box for shit. And, and they both got separated from their consciousness. Like Masvidal, when you watch the Masvidal fight, go back and watch. The dude is absolutely standing there. Is he doing a quasi Mayweather defense? Like everybody, look, I'm telling you, dude, and that's the problem with MMA guys versus boxers. That's the problem with their quote stand up. He's standing there what was he trying to look cool? His chin, he's not doing the Philly shell the correct way. His shoulder was not in front of his chin at all. His chin wasn't tucked. His chin was sitting out there like a ripe orange on the tree, bro. Like,
well, no. When he got knocked out, he had both hands up. He had both hands up.
He had both hands up, but I said his head was dangling like a tangerine, bro. It's just sitting there. And he did not have his hands up. Go back and look.
No, he did.
No. His left hand was hella undisciplined the whole night, the whole fight.
But in that sequence, he had it up. It's just Usman did good. He tapped it,
getting through.
I don't know if he if it was like a feint hook and then bop. It was like a perfect punch.
It was a perfect shot on the guy whose defense is leaky anywhere it goes. He was landing straight punches anytime he wanted to. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I understand MMA, and everybody is saying MMA is on boxing's ass and this is that. But here's my thing. There still is the reason that guys go to MMA is because for one reason or another, you're not able to box. So when you're not able to box, maybe you wrestled, maybe you did something else. Like it's coming along, but boxing is still head and shoulders over MMA, bro. It's two different sports. The only way we're going to truly get a real fight with these guys is we have to come up with some type of hybrid sport that allows both guys to get it in.
That's MMA. It's MMA. That's what MMA. It's MMA. That's what it was.
MMA's got kicking and grappling. Boxers don't kick and grapple.
But that's in a real fight. You kick and grapple. In a real fight, you do all that stuff.
Man, but it's not a real fight. It's a sport. You got to come out with something.
They had to turn it into a sport because they wouldn't get licensed by the commission. They had to set up rules and points and all that. I'm seeing kickboxing, but you know what? I don't know why kickboxing never took off because I enjoy the hell out of kickboxing.
So did I, man.
To be honest, man, the K1 fights, the Glory fights, very very great. But dude, MMA and boxing is completely different, bro. You wrestle your whole life, you go and you transition into MMA.
How many fights have you guys been in? Like, I'm not talking about organized fights. I'm talking about fights, right? So they start on the hands. They start on the hands, and as soon as I've tap you a couple
real
times,
fights,
you have no choice but to grab.
Real fights growing up. Real fights. I've been in about probably like
real fights.
six or seven.
Do brawls count? Like brawls? Because I've been in a lot of brawls too.
In 4 of those fights, bro. Let me tell you, because I wrestled in 4 of those fights, I either took the guy down or kept him down because I knew there's no way this guy is going to be able to touch me. I'm going to take him down and pick him up or slam him. And that's what I did. And they didn't know what the hell to do.
Because you didn't have confidence in what? Your
hands. Not that. No, I knew this is
because you couldn't punch it.
No,
you grabbed because you didn't want to stand there.
Nope.
That's what the truth is.
Nope.
You go to what you're good
at.
The first thing in a fight, you're going to go to what you can do.
Wrong.
You
let me tell you why you're wrong.
Because you knew he was going to ring your bell otherwise.
Nah, let me tell you why. The quickest way to end the fight. That's why.
Was to grab him because you could knock it down.
That's the quickest. Dude, when you're in a fight, you're not thinking, I want to have this stand-up freaking brawl with someone. When you're in a fight, you want to end it as quick as possible.
You're trying to knock the
guy out. You want to end it as quick as possible
without
without taking any damage, bro. And for me, in that situation, the quickest way for me to end that fight is to either body lock the dude, take him down, put my knee on his chest, grab his neck, and just freaking throw elbows like a mofo, or shoot a single, get behind him, and try to choke him out. You know,
man.
But that's just from my experience. Because but completely apple and oranges, bro. You know, two different sports, was mentioned. But man, over the weekend too, there's some boxing fights. I feel like they were overshadowed by the MMA fights because they're great. Some great freaking MMA fights to be honest. That's right. I'm 1,000-0.
Hey, you know what made me laugh? NJMP, when we all came on, NJMP said Team Moneybags is on. Team Moneybags.
I only saw the main event. I only saw the Navarrete fight. I saw parts of the Berlanga fight, but what'd you guys make of both Berlanga and Navarrete? Because Berlanga finally he makes it out of the first round and he ends up going 8 rounds, but I saw him just tossing the dude left and right.
Mm-hmm. It was a good fight. Both of them were very good. Navarrete. What I really admire about him, even though he's awkward, you don't see that style all the time. He's just like a hard puzzle that you need to solve. That's all it is. And it's frustrating to the fighters because he literally will have you keeping what's going to happen next. You know, boxing is all about chess. You need to know if you throw the jab, what are you going to throw next? What he's going to come under, right? You got to time everything. But Navarrete, you don't know what he's going to come because he's moving all awkward. He comes with this uppercut. He was just awkward, but he looked very good. I mean, Pitufo, man, he could have, he went out on his shield, man. He went out on his shield. He did not stop. It was the 12th round, 11th round TKO. Man, but it was a very good fight. Navarrete is just one of those hard puzzles that you need to solve. And I don't know how long he'll last not getting beat because, man, he looked very good. Berlanga.
Hold on. Hold your thought. Gilbert A says Berlanga would get smacked against any top guy. You guys chime in.
At some moments, Berlanga, when he was getting frustrated, he was getting caught by unnecessary punches. But this probably happens because of the experience he hasn't gained. Now, there was moments when the other guy, Nicholson, was pushing him back and Berlanga was just going flat-footed backwards. That was troubling him. That's something you get to, get more experience as you go down more of your fights. So that's where he was getting caught, where a lot of fighters would notice because, like you said, Marcos, months back, and even when they teach you, you take 1, 2, take a step to the side, go to another side. Don't keep going back forward. That's the Mexican style that we all say. So this was a good test for Berlanga. Could he get better? I mean, it's like Triple G. His offense is always his best defense, right? That's what Abel Sanchez's training is all about. You really don't have defense because your offense is your defense. So Berlanga's going to have to tighten up a little bit more because there's some guys in that division that are going to catch him. But he looked good. Both of them looked good. Navarrete just looked marvelous. I love that, the way how he performed. I loved it.
I agree, man. I think that Berlanga, we'll start with Berlanga since it was the first fight. I think that Berlanga did look good. Berlanga, it was a good fight. I thought that his opponent was game, though he went down a couple times. It was definitely a good fight. I thought the first knockdown that they scored wasn't actually a knockdown, that was more of a just collision between the two fighters. But still, nevertheless, he did end up going the distance. But my thing about Berlanga is Berlanga goes for broke when he throws shots. Listen, guys like Steve So-Cold Nelson, the NABF 168 champ, would catch him coming in and he would be a highlight KO himself. There definitely is guys at 168 that would touch Berlanga up. I think that Berlanga does look strange and react weird when he does get hit. His offense kind of slows down a certain percentage. I think the jury is still out on him, but I don't think that he's a world beater right now. I just don't. And as far as
Daniel, hold on. You guys think Daniel Cormier is scared to fight Jake in the ring? I found that kind of weird that he told him they got to fight in MMA. I'm like, bro, you're like you were 2-division champion in the UFC, like MMA, UFC heavyweight champion, UFC light heavyweight champion, like. Bro, like, come on. Wait, you're a lot bigger than this guy.
Hold on, wait. Are you looking at a lack of confidence in the hands from a UFC fighter again? Why are you shocked? I don't know why you're shocked. I don't know why you're shocked. I'm telling you, when you go to the gym, when you go to a boxing gym / MMA gym, and there are real boxers in there, the air is very thin up on that platform on the ring, buddy. And they never come up there. They never come up there unless they come up there in a big ass group of 5 or 6 of them. They don't come up there when the main guys are there working out and training. They stay in their area until they're up there with the novice boxers, and then they let the novice boxers throw shots like these guys. But there's a big difference between.
Hold on, okay.
But why is Cormier calling him an MMA? Because he's a good wrestler. His ground game is very, very good. That's what he's known for.
Because you go to what you do good.
He was not an exciting UFC fighter to see, and we all know that. Even the pay-per-view numbers were showed it. Not a lot of people will be like, "Oh, Cormier, we want to watch him." No, what really set him up more was that John Jones, all the things that happened prior to the fights. I don't think Cormier would beat him in boxing. I don't see him very well technique in boxing, but in UFC. Definitely, hell yeah, because his ground game.
He's not going to UFC. The boxer or the puncher boxer going to UFC is a fallacy. It's not going to happen. You're lucky to get Clarissa Shields to do it. It's not going to happen otherwise. But look, these UFC top guys, when it comes knuckle to knuckle, hand to hand, don't have it like the real boxers do. They just don't. And it's okay. That's why they've got 10 other things that they can do to equalize the fight.
I just found it crazy. Just, dude, this.
I don't know. It's just, you don't want to. A dude like him don't want to fight Jake Paul.
That's nuts to me. Like, what the hell? How the hell do you not want to take that? He's way bigger than him. Like, he's been training longer than him. Like, come on,
big
bro.
As Cormier is, as big as Daniel Cormier is, I'm shocked that Daniel Cormier would act like that. That's a
me too.
Move. That's a whole weenie move.
You know what? But you know what? When he was
weenie for that, Cormier,
when he was talking to him, like when he faced him, like Jake Paul said, I thought you were gonna slap me. You didn't do anything. So that kind of was like 1 for Jake, 0 for Cormier, because Jake, Cormier's like, hey,
he's not gonna go ahead and slap him. He's about to be on air. He probably would have gotten reprimanded.
He has a lot to lose. So I was like, he's not gonna do anything to him.
But I don't know. Like I said, it's just for him to say, like, oh, let's do it in MMA. I'm like, come on, bro. You scared of Jake? Like, come on, dog.
Crazy,
like,
bro.
Well,
you fought all these guys. Like, you fought Stipe and John Jones. Like, come on, bro.
He wants to break him. He wants to break his leg like Weidman.
He could break him in the boxing ring. I don't know. Would Jake legit? You guys think Jake legit would beat him? Like, his boxing has come that much along that he would beat Daniel Cormier?
Cormier not displaying confidence in himself and confidence in his skills. Absolutely, I think that he knows something that we don't know. I'm telling you, he knows something that we don't know. I can't box. I've tried. I can't box. That's what he's thinking in his mind. That's that voice in the back of his mind. He can't box. No UFC fighters can box. That's why Anderson Silva is getting ready to be sleep on his face versus Chavez Jr. Bet on it. Sleep on his face with his ass in the air.
Oh, face down.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, buddy, grease his ass up.
No, I mean, I don't think Cormier would beat him in boxing at all.
I don't know. It's
he won't, bro. Like, come on, UFC. When you would see Cormier,
I don't know. Maybe because I have this image of Daniel Cormier, like this image of this guy that just slamming fools. And yeah, I understand it. It's not an MMA fight. It's a boxing fight. But even with that, like, he's been fighting professionally for like the longest time, and Jake's only been trained for like a year and a half. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that he would.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you what's happening. Look, in a regular fight, you start up standing. When I bing bing, when it's a big circle of people and I hit you 2 times, bow bow. Next thing you do, you're gonna start stumbling forward and you're gonna try to grab me to equalize the fight because you've already conceded the battle on the feet. These guys have conceded the battle on the feet by saying I'm going to MMA. It's okay, and it's okay. There's no comparison.
Everybody's agreeing. MMA, Cormier will win. Boxing, Jake Paul will win. I'm telling you, everybody can see it. Why do you think Cormier said, "I'll get you in the boxing ring"? Where's the other UFC fighter? I can't even pronounce his name. Garbrandt. I don't even know how to say it.
Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt.
He even said, I will step in the ring because I can fight you. You've seen him fight. You've seen him do some boxing techniques. So he has some boxing techniques because he was calling Jay Leon. He said, I'll get in the boxing ring. I will fight you, and I'll fight your whole posse. So he was calling Jake Paul on that. But Cormier didn't call him out in boxing because he knows he cannot win on there. He knows it. He knows he cannot.
Clarissa Shields versus Jake Paul. Oh, my God.
Clarissa Shields, easy work. Clarissa
Oh,
Shields,
my goodness.
easy work.
Oh, my goodness.
Clarissa
I don't
Shields,
know,
easy
bro.
work.
I don't know. That's just a funny thing to entertain, man.
It could happen.
With Jake Paul. No way. No commission would sanction a man versus a woman. No way.
Hey, they're doing it already, low key, Brody.
Where?
Hi, my name is Marquita. Right? I mean, come on.
Nah. That only happened like once or twice with that one girl. What was that one girl's name? The Fallon Fox, I think. The transition.
But it happened.
It did. True. It did. But I don't know. The only other fight that I've seen like man versus woman that was a legit fight happened, I believe, in Thailand, and it was Lucia Riker against a world champion Muay Thai fighter, and she was doing really, really well, but then she got knocked the F out because she hit the dude with a really clean punch, and you could tell he got freaking mad, and the whole arena went. She fell face first, I believe, and yeah, that was the end of that. So I don't know. It's just a crazy. That's like the same thing when like people were like Ronda Rousey would kick the crap out of Floyd Mayweather. Like, come on, bro, this is man versus woman. Like, come on, dog. Like, come on.
You remember when they asked Floyd Mayweather that? He's like, who? Who's that? He didn't even know who Ronda Rousey was at the moment.
Man.
Jim Jones, Marcus is calling you out, saying Clarissa got knocked down by soccer mom. Jake would sleeper, dog.
Hold on, wait. Just go back to the comment and break the comment down. Okay, Speedy Gonzalez, you must be smoking that shit that dude is smoking in that little gif you got there. Because you said Hannah Gabriels is a soccer mom. You need to do 50 up downs and report back to me, dude. What are you talking about, broski? Hannah Gabriels is a soccer mom. No, that's a legit fighter who would peel your cap back to the white meat tomorrow.
Marcos, look at NJMP's comment.
God, he's a little pervert, dude. You guys are little perverts. Yeah. all you guys. Oh man. The other thing that I want to touch on too is I got my my little list of the things to touch on. Dude, what's going on with this Tyson Fury Joshua thing, man? Like, why haven't they announced the fight, bro? This is terrible. This is why we're getting these freaking matchups, to be honest. It's fights like these, they don't happen, it's terrible. Boxing fans known pervs. Yes, I see it. Oh, man. I bet you George Foreman would KO Jake Paul. Come on, of course, dog. Of course.
Yes.
Clarissa said she would beat Triple G. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. That's talking nonsense there.
Shannon Briggs versus Jake Paul. That would
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
You'll find him anywhere.
Giggity. Yeah, Danny, still no announcement yet.
And it's always back and forth. It's always back and forth. Every week that passes by, Eddie Hearn or somebody says, we have the date. We have the location. We have the date. We have the location. And
they're giving the same update like Mojo Jojo, bro. It's ridiculous. Like, we have a fight signed. We have signed a fight. Next time, it's bull, bro. Like, what we're getting from them, what we're getting from Top Rank on this fight right now, something's wrong.
What was that?
Something's not right.
It was my Quagmire. As my text when you text me.
That's every time I see Ebony Bridges. Jesus. That girl's on fire, man. Oh my God. Giggity. Well, Fury's training. He's in Vegas. So obviously, if he's in Vegas training, it's pretty damn freaking close, Josh was not training, or I haven't seen any clips of Josh
been in training camp for a long time now, bro. He's been constantly in camp. Am I right? He's been there.
Yeah, but he took a little break. I think I'm gonna say maybe like a month or two ago. He said all those things. he posted a story today that he has a little bit of a bigger of a belly than before. So, maybe there was some drops of truth there saying that he wasn't training for a period of time, because he did, belly wise, he did look a little bit bigger than what we saw even after the second Wilder fight. Top Rank keeps capping us.
Yeah, well, Capetillo's gym, I saw that. And I saw a picture today where his belly being out. I was like, "Ooh!" I said that doesn't look like the picture we saw like about 2 or 3 years ago. I did not look on there, so I was like, "Yeah." I'm sure he's probably just trying to get back in camp to make sure he keeps Jake versus
Bros, I would love to see this fight, and I mentioned it to a homie too. I would watch the ish out of this freaking fight. I would pay $50 to watch this fight.
And you know
Marcus,
what? Hollywood
Marcus doesn't like it at all.
There's no way that
Marcus
he would sign to fight Paulie. There's no way. There's no way
he would. Yes, he would.
No,
he
would
beats
never.
Paulie. He beats Paulie.
I will fall out my seat on this damn broadcast if you say that again. Please don't say that again, dog. Did you say Jake beats Paulie? Oh, I was about to say, mate. Oh, come on.
Hey, Jim thinks he knocks out Paulie. Would you guys watch Jake versus Paulie? I think that'd be pretty funny. I think that'd be hilarious. I would not be surprised though if he fights Artem. In a ploy to slowly
damn near kill Jake's ass, man.
Paulie can't punch though. Paulie can't punch though. Paulie has hand problems.
Paulie will be able to punch good enough to put Jake through some problems, without question. Paulie will put that herky jerky style on Jake, man. He'll make Jake look like a damn fool, bro. It wouldn't happen.
I don't know, man.
His train ends there.
Didn't Conor mess him up in sparring?
No, not really. No,
bro, he knocks him down.
Jake needs to try to fight Conor.
That was not a knockdown.
I know. I'm just trying to get a reaction from both of you guys.
Oh, that is.
Hey, but you know what I wanted to ask you or what talk to you guys about, because I know I didn't touch on it, bro. But damn, doesn't Emmanuel Navarrete look a lot like David Benavidez when he fights, bro? Like his punching style, the way that he punches everywhere, he hits you everywhere, dude. Just the speed and the violence of his fighting style. I would love to see Emmanuel Navarrete and Shakur Stevens lock horns at 26 or 30. Great fight. Great fight.
What do you think, Jahir?
Doing the comparison with Benavidez, I could see it now when you're talking about. All I was really more looking at was his movement. I know you're gonna laugh. Everybody's gonna pick on me, but I feel like his movement was like a prime young Manny Pacquiao upcoming. The way he would just move different ways. I know it's not identical, but I feel like his movement was just something more that I was focused on. His punches. I don't see his punches too late, connected with like David Benavidez. I know David Benavidez comes with like 8 combination punches. I just think that, I don't know. I just think Navarrete is just overall unique. Like I told you, he's just a puzzle so hard to solve. That's what happened with Pacquiao at the beginning of his career, right? It was so hard to solve, even till today. So, sorry, Marcus, I kind of don't agree fully on there. But
no, go for it.
Yeah. I don't fully agree with it. It's just because I guess when Navarrete's coming in.
Hold on. Yo, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Caleb, send that prediction. I'll put it up. All right, go back to your
prediction, bro.
Dude, a lot of people think Jake would knock out Paulie, bro. You seen these comments?
And they don't think that he pulls numbers.
It's crazy.
But that
would be great. Hey, he lost to Artem in a bare knuckle fight. Yeah, I understand it's bare knuckle, but he said he was gonna light up Artem.
Hold on, bro.
I know his hand broke.
Artem's got history in fights, though, bro. This ain't just
so does Ben Askren. So does Daniel Cormier.
God.
He's the MMA guy. And the MMA guy beat the boxer in that.
And you know what? Look, and let's go back real quick because we touched on Masvidal and I was quiet. If you go back, you can see Masvidal get highlight choked out by somebody's legs a long time ago. Like Masvidal, 14 losses. This is 15th loss. MMA It's all names, homie. It's a lot of names, a lot of names, a lot of names. They can generate stuff with the names, but still, these guys are putting their hearts and minds on the line. Jake Paul, what he said about Dana White, I agree with, and I wonder. So if your guys aren't really making money, who the hell is making all that money? If MMA is so popular, are you taking the checks that the fighters should be getting?
Not well. You got to understand. You got to understand their business model, though. You know their business model for it to be. And Dana said before that boxing is not
what, that I make all the money and you get all the pain? What?
Yeah, they say that it's not economically viable because so much of it goes out to the fighters. So you know, obviously the UFC is owned by Endeavor, I believe. I don't know how the splits are, but yeah, it's they say it's more leveled out to where, you know, it's split more, distributed more evenly. What is true though is that the
UFC is exploiting fighters, Brody.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing.
That's what's happening.
But I agree with what Jake said, obviously, but there is a huger disparity between the elite in boxing and everyone else, where there's only, you know, the top 1% is actually making great money, and everybody else for the Bacon BMF belt, let's go. And everybody else, like the boxing middle class, is not making anything as compared to MMA, where you know you have your work. I don't want to say workers, but you know they would be considered journeymen in boxing, but in MMA, you know, they're making pretty decent money. They're making six figures as compared to someone who had that same record in boxing. They would make jack-ish. You know, they would make nothing. So, and the reasoning behind, from what I've read and heard, is like that's why we cap it in a way where that everybody's able to get paid better. Whether I agree with it, whether fans agree with it, whether the top actual earners agree with it, you know, it's a different thing. But I do remember reading an article in which Dana is saying like that's the reason why boxing is one of the reasons why boxing is
stop real quick. Let's just stop real fast, because I think that there seems like there's this weird narrative in the room. We do know that there's more than one MMA company, right?
Yeah,
that
but the UFC
MMA
is the biggest company.
UFC. So whatever the UFC's roster is making, now go look at the rest of these dudes, what they're getting. They're getting nada. I bet you they're getting nothing.
No, the Bellator fighters are making pretty good money. They're making good money. You know, Bellator signed with Viacom, Showtime. They're getting pretty decent purses, I believe, in comparison. Now, are their top stars making as much as the UFC's top stars? I doubt it. I doubt it. There's no way. There's no way, because you know, UFC's the number one company in MMA. They're the top dogs. They're the innovators. They're the first ones in the space. But you know, it is what it is.
I want to add to what both of y'all said. When Dana White, about a year and a half ago in 2019, I think, he said that he was going to start his own boxing promotion. He was going to get into it. He kept saying, I'm going to do it in October. I'm going to start in October. And he would always, in his conversation, if you notice, boxing always has a huge event. Like, they have to have a huge event every year because they need the money. Every event is like, it has to pay for something out. That's what he always stated. He wanted to like close that up. And if he did his own boxing promotion, but that never happened. And I was always curious, what is he going to do that's going to be different? And then when he touched base on it, when somebody asked him, I think it was a UFC fight, he said, man, there's too many loopholes that it's so hard to cover boxing on the money side, if I believe what he said. So it's different. It's apples and oranges. It's apple and oranges.
Here's the other thing. Dark Cloud is saying, you know, if you look at the numbers, MMA brings in more money than boxing. If you look at the top grossing pay-per-views of all time, they've all been haven't they all been boxing events? I know there's UFC fights there. There's a good amount of UFC fights there, but I think the top 5 have all been boxing events. So I think that kind of numbs that argument in terms of numbers. Now ratings, that's a different thing. Yeah, you know, I think MMA ratings in general are higher than the boxing ratings, because the MMA, the UFC in particular, does a way of a heck better job of promoting their product. They promote the UFC brand. They promote MMA. That's the product. You know, boxing is they promote the individual, the fighter, the one guy, instead of not promoting their product, which is boxing. They should be promoting boxing through competitive and intriguing matchups and promoting the guys that aren't the superstars. A lot of promoters just focus on one guy and they don't focus on the rest of the roster. And then when that guy leaves, they're left in a scramble and they're left scratching their head. Well, why aren't these guys tuning in? Because you failed to promote your freaking undercard guys. You're not doing a good job promoting all your other guys. Or other guys, are interesting too. Like go ahead and put some money behind them.
Top-ranking Terrence Crawford. Top-ranking Terrence Crawford. When you tell the fighter that you got to promote himself.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship, because obviously the fighter has to take the initiative too and go ahead and try as well. But yeah, you're a promoter. You're supposed to promote your freaking guy.
Why else are you there? You have no other purpose.
You're supposed to go and promote your dude. Jake versus Nikita White Chocolate Abidi. Come on, bro. Come on, Danny. Come on, man. Come on. Tough man competitors need better pay as well. What's up?
They've been asking for that for a couple of weeks, though. But remember, Ababe is 160, guys.
Bro, is that a real question? Like, come on, dude. This Ababe has been boxing his whole freaking life. Like, come on.
And it wouldn't happen. And your boy ain't crazy either. Like, look.
I mentioned earlier, they're matching him the right way. And he's smart too. He knows his limitations
the right way.
Yeah, exactly. You got to see this as this is his amateur career. If he is in fact serious, and it looks like he has been serious about it, because some of the stuff he's doing, it does take skill. It does take repetition and muscle memory to do the sort of things that he's been able to do in there. But so you really got to look at that. All this crying, fight a real boxer, dude. They weren't telling freaking all these other prospects that ended up being great fighters at like 3 fights in, fight a world champion. No, it takes time, bro. It takes time. They bring him up a certain way, and that's what they're going ahead and doing with him as well. I'm scared for Holyfield getting a license to fight for real. Hey, Jahir, did he tell you this was a exhibition or a real fight?
I think he still doesn't know exactly what it is, because when I read it was supposed to be 6 rounds, right? Exhibition. What I read, he said it was 8 rounds for fight. Like you see it on the video, he's like, no, it's 8 rounds. I'm like, I thought it was 6 rounds exhibition. I think what I've known, what they told me, what I read, it's exhibition. But it's exhibition, because even talking to, I remember I was talking to Tio Fimo's guy, that Ryan. He said, yeah, I was like, the undercard. He said, yeah, the exhibition. I was like, oh, so it's going to be an exhibition. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So it's going to be an exhibition, 6 rounds. Because everywhere you read, it says 6 rounds exhibition. Holyfield said it was 8 rounds. So I'm like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, all right. So.
Yeah, no, that is a concern, obviously. That's the other thing why, I don't really like the legends coming back to fight, because everybody has a punch count, and these guys have had full careers. And, I would hate to see something happen. And are these really exhibitions? They're saying they're exhibitions, but they're still taking punches to the freaking head. They're not wearing headgear. It's a minute shorter, Yeah,
everywhere I'm reading is exhibition. Everywhere I'm reading right now is just talk about exhibition. Evander Holyfield returns to the ring in June, exhibition. Ex-champ Evander Holyfield making a boxing return in an exhibition. Evander Holyfield to face Kevin McBride in an exhibition. Evander Holyfield to the ring for an exhibition fight versus Kevin McBride on June 5th. Everywhere's exhibition. So, I mean, maybe he's trying to sell a little bit more. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, my arm.
Danny said he might not pass his medical. That's a good point, Danny. He might not. We'll see.
Physically, he's well, but obviously, it's if you listen to the interviews he's done, like his speech is kind of off, So, hate to see something happen.
Look, like Roy Jones dislikes.
What's he saying? What's up with all the dislikes? It's because we're talking about Jake. That's why, boxing fans.
Yeah, they hate Jake, bro.
They hate. But hey, all you guys that are still on here, let's get some more likes so we can outweigh the dislikes. What's up with Ryan?
That's where we're gonna go.
It's unfortunate. He's out of his fight with Javier Fortuna, citing mental issues, he said?
Yeah.
just
So he's
having, dealing with mental issues from what I read on his post. But it's not.
Here's the thing, guys. Obviously this is a touchy subject. Mental health is a touchy subject, especially right now because of the pandemic. If he says he has mental issues, you got to take him for his word. You got to, because what else can, people can go and speculate all they want and say like, oh, I saw this snap, he's on vacation, blah, 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 blah. Dude, if I was having mental issues, I would check out and go on vacation too. Like, what the hell? Like you don't want to be in a stressful environment. You want to get away from everything. That, all we can do is speculate. We don't know what's going on, and we got to take him for his word,
with respect to Ryan and the things that's going on with him, he's made it quite clear that he has battled anxiety. If you follow Ryan Garcia has battled anxiety for quite a long time. So, and to be honest, man, I mean, there are a lot of people maybe in the chat and you guys that have boxed and that have actually signed to fight and have went all the way through to the fight and through the fight and signed another fight to fight. Like the thing is, man, is there's in boxing, it's a lonely sport. There are no teammates. There's no running back to rely on. There's no amazing quarterback that says, hey, man, I'm a ball this weekend, no matter if you get your ass burnt or not. It's just you. It's just you every single day. You're waking up doing road work. You're waking up training. There's always hard sparring. Boxing's a wear on the mind. There's always a level of fear. I don't know if guys have really fought or trained or really battled and had a record before. Boxing's hard. I don't understand why everybody's looking at it like he chickened out or he chicken shitted out. He was coming in to fight Javier Fortuna, already having anxiety. Watch a Javier Fortuna fight where he's looked like he's going to be dominated. That's a tough out for anybody. Not trying to give him an out an excuse, but man, I mean, maybe it just got to him. Maybe he's been going through this anxiety for every fight for years, and maybe it's just broke him down. Who knows?
Wasn't that what kind of happened to
I
Anthony
hope
Joshua?
that he comes back stronger.
Isn't that the rumor that happened with Anthony Joshua when he lost against Andy Reese? He had an anxiety attack before the fight happened.
That was hard.
Yeah, so the thing is, if he does or doesn't, regardless, he wants to take the time. You also got to look at it. This is just a kid. I mean, he's just a 20-year-old, 22-year-old, 20-year-old kid. He's been in the spotlight for years now, and so much pressure has came up to him that he's not just a regular kid or a young man like how we were. So there's so much spotlight on him. He has to be up there. He has to show a face. He has to perform. He has to call these fighters. Like, it's just so much. It's just the pressure doesn't amount. I'm sure any other fighter in the previous years in boxing has pulled out, maybe because they dealt with it. They just didn't want to talk about it. Ryan Garcia just faced up and said, hey, I'm going through some stuff. I need the time. There's no problem with it. If he wants to take a vacation, there's no problem. So that's where I in the note right there. So if he needs the time, take it. It's boxing, like you said, it's a very lonely sport, and it's like many have said, don't look in your locker room when you win. Look around when you lose. So it's
Orlando G. That's a good point, right? Ask Tyson. You know what else? You know who else you can ask about?
Ooh, we lost him. No,
we lost Marcus. As soon as he's making his point, there we go. Marcus, we lost you for a little bit.
Oh, okay, my bad, doggy. What I'm saying is, like, look at a fighter like Oliver McCall. Oliver McCall, everybody was like, what's wrong with him? He crying in the ring, bro. He might have broke, but he just did. But he went through and he fought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hard game. It's a hard sport. Maybe it just gnawed at him and took him down. But NJMP made a good point, man, which is, hey, have the same energy when Adrian Broner or these other guys, Tank Davis, and these guys are showing signs of that they're having some type of a breakdown. It's a hard sport,
bro.
Dog.
Well, okay, bro. Let me touch on that. Let me touch on that, okay? Because there is a counterpoint to that Ryan's not out, doing hit and runs and doing, stuff like how Billy Joe Saunders was doing and Broner. His point, he's not out doing stupid stuff. A lot of this stuff is stupid stuff. and they're not the ones admitting they have mental health issues either. They're not saying, "Oh, it's because of mental health issues," because
Follow
let's be
Adrian
honest,
Broner's Twitter. Follow Adrian Broner's Instagram and tell me AB don't have mental health problems, doggy. Tell me that.
You don't
Follow
know. We
AB.
never asked him.
No, just follow it. All you gotta do is just look at the
So
stuff.
okay, to counter that, well, okay, what about Billy Joe Saunders then? Does he has mental issues, or is just being a douche?
What, when he talking about how giving instructions on how to whoop a woman's ass?
Well,
No,
look
That
at
ain't
all the stuff that he's doing.
no.
So
When he
no, but
called
look
an
at
airplane, when he called an
Yeah.
airplane on two fighters that were there, and he told them that they were terrorists, and then when he gave money to a poor, right, Marcos, right, he did that. He
yeah.
Yeah, he
So it's
called
does
it.
like-
that sound like
so-
mental health, or
so-
does that sound like gamesmanship going wrong?
No, bro, but it's the same thing. Like Broner does the same thing too. So is it stupidity and being a douche, or is it the other thing around? Like a lot of these things are just they're doing stupid shit. Ryan hasn't done any of that stuff.
Look, and to get back on to Ryan, look, there's a if you look at the MSDS, the medical diagnosis, right? There's a big thing in anxiety. It's called an imaginary audience. Ryan Garcia has like 8 million followers, dog. He ain't having an imaginary audience. He has a real audience, and it's breaking him down. Obviously, it's breaking his heart. So, it's got to be stressful. It's got to be hard. You see here that Danny says, don't forget that he's 22 years old, and he's solely financially responsible for his entire extended family training team / entourage. Hey, it is what it is.
A lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
He has a lot of pressure for that age. He has a lot of pressure.
Now, but let's go back to the boxing point. The boxing point is you signed a contract, you had a date, you had a venue, you pulled out of a fight. And I hate to say it, but that's what there are hardcore boxing fans that are going to be saying that, because I'm sure that he's not the first guy to be going into a fight that is having maybe a physical or a mental injury. And guys have went through with it before. So there's a reason why you get these big purses. There's a reason why, and it goes back to, you go back to it before, you go back to great fighters, and it makes them look even better. Man, everybody had to deal with this. Look at Sugar Ray Leonard versus Duran. You don't think he had mental problems getting ready to face Duran, and anxiety after that first fight in Montreal? Come on, man, please.
And even with Duran was calling his wife out, there was
I've heard, like I'm saying, I'm trying to give both sides to light, because there's people's like, come on, man, like, anxiety, like, you deal with it, and you go in and you find a way to deal with it, and then, but obviously we're not him. We don't know what he's going through. We're speculating it's this. It could be a whole completely different issue that he's dealing with. We don't know.
It could be a contract issue. It could be money. Who knows?
Well, that's speculation. We got to take him for what he's saying, and just leave it as is. If he's saying that, he's saying that, and we got to believe him until otherwise, So whatever he's going through, I just hope he's doing well, and he's taking the proper steps to go ahead and rectify that situation and to make it better for himself, So, I've had many chats with Ryan. He's a good kid. He's a good kid at heart. He gets a lot of flack because he's a pretty boy, and some of the stuff to some people, to older cats, come off as cheesy. But he's overall he's a good kid. Ryan's a good kid. I like Ryan.
Absolutely.
I like him a lot.
Absolutely.
So. And a lot of his criticism, a lot of criticism just unwarranted, because he's this pretty boy, and boxing fans feel they have this image of what their ideal boxer should look like, fight like, and act like, and he doesn't fit a lot of those things. A lot of that same criticism was thrown at Oscar, where especially when Oscar fought Fernando Vargas, and a lot of fans were rolling with Vargas because of what Vargas represented and what Oscar represented. Up to that point. So, I just hope that he's taking the necessary steps to go and take care of himself and his well-being. That's for sure.
Agreed. Completely agreed. I mean, and good luck to him. You know, he's got to take care of himself, and he can. He lives to fight another day, bro. The big part is we got to have Ryan Garcia to have a Ryan Garcia fight. So best of luck to him, and we'll find Ryan's getting ready to find out who really is in his corner, and I hope his eyes are open.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, you guys, a few more questions we'll get to. We've been streaming already for an hour and 15 minutes. Usually we only stream for an hour. Frank Martin last Tuesday. Hey, I saw that fight. The guy that Frank Martin beat on FS1 is no slouch either, Jerry Perez. I know him personally. Jerry's a really, really good fighter. But Frank, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Frank, oh, man, he made a statement in that fight. This
Absolutely.
dude is trained by Derek James. He's going to be a future world champ. No doubt about it. Future world champion right there.
Speed, power, preciseness. He's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, he is. He is, man. The sky's the limit for him, and I'm excited to see how they bring him up because he looks like he's going to be a freaking handful for a lot of guys in about 2 years' time.
Absolutely.
Prime Duran would ice Camacho. I would agree with that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, the Camacho before the Rosario fight or after?
Ooh, dang,
Doesn't
you want
matter.
to touch on that?
Marcus says it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Ooh, I think it would be more complicated. The Camacho before Rosario, and then I think it would be more. He'll get more maybe outboxed in the after Camacho, because that's what Camacho after the Rosario fight. Camacho was completely different. All the problems that he had. So, y'all see that Showtime documentary of Camacho? It was really.
Oh yeah, man.
That
was. If there's a documentary that I would recommend for you guys to watch, it would be I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it's Boom Boom's documentary about meeting Do Kook Kim's son. It'll freaking make you cry, man. It's a very emotional documentary, and I think it made me even more emotional because I spent a lot of time with Boom Boom when he worked with us over at FS1. Yeah, man, that's a tear-jerker of a documentary. So I would recommend that to all you guys watching this. Go watch that documentary. I'll get the name of it right now. But it's about meeting his son. I want to say the good son. No, that's the book, isn't it?
You know what?
I'll see.
A thing that was haunting about that fight, what's his name again? Marcos
Dooku Kim. Yeah.
Dooku Kim.
For those of you guys that don't know, Ray Boom Boom Mancini was like the most popular boxer when he was active during his time. He's a huge superstar. He did that fight happen after the Arguello fight or before the Arguello fight?
I think it was after.
Okay, let me look up his box real quick. Mancini box record.
But the way that in Kim's hotel room, bro, how they wrote on the lampshade, basically like either win or don't come back. Like that's crazy, man.
Well, that's a warrior freaking mentality that you have,
What a message, homie. Like either win or don't come back, homie.
So the fight did happen after his Arguello loss. So he had lost to Arguello in 1981. This fight happens in 1982. Televised live on ABC, I believe, Wide World of Sports. Obviously, this is before I was even born, but I know because spending time with Boom Boom, we asked him about it, and he talked to us about it. It was a 15-round fight. It's the reason why there's no more 15-round fights. There's only 12-round fights now, because of how much punishment Dooku Kim took in that fight, that he ended up succumbing to his injuries from that fight. He collapses at the end of the fight. The fight's over. He collapses. They take him away. He gets put in a coma, and I believe a few days later he goes and he passes away. And WBC comes in and changes the rules to 12-round fights instead of 15. But because of that fight after, Boom Boom retired, he didn't fight for a few years. And I've heard a lot of people say that Ray wasn't the same after that fight. To give you guys just, I guess, context as to what it's about. But check out the documentary. It's a great documentary. It this stuff can happen. And last, was it 2 years ago? We saw it happen quite a bit of time.
We saw
the usual. Yeah, with Patrick Day, Maxim Dadashev, and the fighter. There's an Argentine fighter, I think, that happened to as well.
Like 3 or 4 that happened the whole year, and it was like in a span of 4, 5, 6 months. Like they all came back to back. Like
boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
because then I remember that was when Maurice Hooker lost to Jose Ramirez here in the UTA Center, and they were saying they were asking Maurice Hooker, do you think it was early stoppage? He said, well, everybody who's been passing away, something could have happened to me, so I'm glad that the ref stopped it at time. So
all right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I got to go to the work, go work out as well. This weekend in boxing, don't miss out. Let's see what we got. We got Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker on DAZN. And Andy Ruiz making his return against Chris Arreola May 1st on pay-per-view. I got a chance to see Andy Ruiz in the gym a few days ago. He looks phenomenal. He looks motivated, dedicated. Let's see how far he's able to go this way. But if he's, Team Moneybags on 3. If he stays this dedicated, he's going to get another crack at the heavyweight title, and let's see what happens. Because, he's looking really, really good. But that's it for this April 26th edition of the Fight Up TV live chat for Jahir and Marcus. I'm Marcos Villegas. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to watch all our content. Let's get one more round of likes. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't subscribed to. And we'll be back next weekend.
Ruiz versus Arreola, potential FOTY. Get ready. This is going to be the fight that you guys have been waiting for. Arreola looks phenomenal. Ruiz looks phenomenal. These two guys are gentlemen, but still waters run deep, man. It's going to be a great fight. Looking forward to the weekend, bro. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be very good.
For as long as it lasts, because I don't think that fight's going to last very long. I would be very, very surprised if it gets out of 3 rounds, to be honest.
Ooh.
I think he's got some left. I think Arreola's got one. He's got one more fight left. Watch. He's got one more fight left. Well,
this could be it. This could be the last fight.
Yeah, he's already 40. I mean, not that makes a big difference, but he's already up there.
He's got one more left. You don't believe in Arreola? He got one more left. Watch.
Yep.
This is gonna be a brutal fight.
Arreola got one more left in me.
They're gonna go at it. That's I don't
bring it home from Riverside, Arreola. Good luck, bro.
I don't see it going 12 rounds. Like, they're gonna go at it. Chris comes forward, throws punches. Andy comes forward, throws punches. Andy is more in his prime than Chris. Chris has been through a lot of mileage. We'll see what happens, but obviously Andy's the favorite for a reason. All right, you guys. I think that's it, man. For Marcus and Jahir, this is me, Marcos Villegas. Thank you guys for watching us over here at the Fight Up TV live chat. Next week, same time, same place, same channel. Probably won't be talking about Jake Paul. We'll be talking about Canelo facing Billy Joe Saunders next week. So tune in. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Peace out, everybody.
California love, no doubt.